Here I am in North Wales, Llandudno. Now I'm doing something very interesting. Over there, we have a GREGGS. I've already done GREGGS on the channel. However, take a look here. Pound Bakery. Now what it does say here is over 50% bigger than GREGGS is their sausage rolls. So what I want to do is do a little bit of a comparison video, see which one is bigger, or smaller, or bigger. The one thing I have got to say, GREGGS is very quiet. Okay, it's covered in scaffolding. People behind me are actually queuing to get into this Pound Bakery. Tasty baking at tasty prices. Let's see what this one's about, and then let's compare them with the GREGGS. We've come inside. I'm not going to film in here because it's got very, very busy. What I'm going to do is get a selection, take it outside, and then do a bit of a comparison with GREGGS. And I'm going to get the stuff from GREGGS as well, but it's not right to film in here because there's loads of people in here. It is very cheap. You've got a full range of breads here, bread, real thick slices, £1.70. A range of sandwiches, cakes, everything else. So I'm going to get a range and then compare. The wind has beaten me. Got the table, I've got the chair. Every time I do it, a gust of wind comes and I'm sitting in a sheltered area. I want to actually shout out the St. George's Hotel here. Thank you very much for letting me use this area. But I can't use table and chairs. So let's crack on here. That's the pizza from Pound Bakery. So take a look at that. And it looks a little bit on the overdone side. You've got slices of pepperoni on there. And then you've got the GREGGS one. So there's a little comparison between the two. Now, I think that the GREGGS one is not overly cooked. This one certainly is. They're both £2.50, but the GREGGS one actually looks quite greasy, to say the least. So I'm going to start with the GREGGS. It's got a nice sauce. Tell you what, it's got a thicker dough. I like the tomato base there, you've got a little bit of cheese, but the pepperoni is quite classy. It's not a mind-blowing piece of pizza, but it's actually not a bad piece. Here, I'm a little bit worried about the pepperoni. You can see that is completely over. That's a lot of a thinner base. Not a huge amount of tomato. The cheese is okay. The pepperoni is totally ruined because it's overcooked. So, for me, I wouldn't necessarily go to either for a piece of pizza. But GREGGS are one up. No doubts. GREGGS are 1-0 up. Go to GREGGS. Round 2, steak bake time. So we have the GREGGS steak bake and the Pound Bakery steak bake. Take a close up in here. Size does matter. So here we go. GREGGS is tiny, tiny bit. You keep an eye on that. I'll pick all this up. I think you see what I mean. You're not a mean Harry. So first impressions, this one looks a lot flatter. This looks a little bit more plump. I think there could be a little bit more filling in this one. Well, good. You can see the steam coming out. The pastry is really light, buttery. That's a good steak bake. That is good. I'm having indigestion after all this. On to GREGGS. Yep. Nice bit of filling in there. The filling in this one from the Pound Bakery is so much better. Put more taste to it. It's a lot larger. Price-wise, I didn't check. I'm struggling a little bit here with the Pound Bakery because at least GREGGS mark everything out exactly as everything is. Here, it's kind of a mixed jumble of figures. Now, I've got similar from both, so I'm guessing I'm not going to go mad about what the price differential is because I'm struggling with it. But easily, the Pound Bakery wins this one. That is a good steak bake. There's no doubts about it. It's a lot bigger. It's got better filling all round. That's better. 1-1. Oh, we're coming up to the half-time whistle. The main event, you know, the show in the middle is not quite up to that point yet. The sausage roll. GREGGS. Bosh. Upside down. Bosh. The Pound Bakery. Bosh. They've said 50% bigger. And I think they're right. I think Pound Bakery are right. I think that's a lot bigger than the GREGGS one. A lot bigger. GREGGS first. That's quite tasty, actually. Do they change the formula at GREGGS all the time? Because it's actually a nice bit of sausage meat. That's actually really good. Pound. That's good as well. I really prefer the pastry on the Pound one. There's a lot more sausage meat. And you see, they're actually a totally different colour. You come close in. This one here's a little bit more pink. This one here's darker. Pound Bakery easily wins that. So the main event, which GREGGS are really well known for, surprisingly, which is the sausage rolls, is what Pound Bakery have come in and just smashed it out of the park. And I mean really smashed it out of the park. That is a good sausage roll. I'm actually going to go dive in again, but this video will take 2 hours otherwise. Cheese and onion slice. If we take a look, they're actually totally, they're polar differences apart. The Pound Bakery's one is lots bigger. However, GREGGS one is a lot more plump. That's a little bit, someone sat on that one. GREGGS first. That's just an air pocket. I want to open up a bit more. It's just air. So the filling is at the bottom. The rest of it, there you have it. The Pound Bakery. The actual filling is a little bit bland. I'm not getting much cheese out of that at all. Don't go away, please. Interesting one, because that's quite bland as well. I'm getting a hint of cheese. Not much onion. This is a tough one, because both of them are bland. Both of them are similar price. I suppose if you want something that's a little bit bland, but it's got a little bit of flavour of cheese and a little bit of flavour of onion, you're going to have to go for the bigger one. GREGGS one was all air. It was just a massive amount of air. Pound Bakery's got to win that then. That's a close one, because it really could be classed as a draw, but I've got to give it to somebody. 3-1. 3-1. I hope that most GREGGS can hope for here is a draw. Tuna baguette time. So this one is one from Pound Bakery. That looks a lot sloppier than the one from GREGGS. GREGGS seems a little bit more thought out. There's not so much mayonnaise in the GREGGS one. Size? Identical. Let's start with the sloppy one. Oh, that's good. That has some cucumber in there. I actually like the filling. Yep. A lot of mayonnaise in that filling, but all that's in there as well is cucumber and the tuna. That is good. Looks can be deceiving, because that is actually very good. So the GREGGS one is a little bit more thought out. So a little bit more thought out. They've chucked some onion in there, some red onion. I don't think there's as much tuna in there. I did like the roll as well, or the baguette. Oh, it's tough. I prefer the tuna in the pound one. But what sets that a little bit standard higher, there's a beautiful sweetness of the Spanish onion that's in there. And that has elevated it that bit better. So, if you actually want to make that one better, just add some onion. Because it has actually made it taste a lot better. It's a different level to actually the baguette itself. So for me, Greggs has won that. Just 3-2. I like that. Oh. And some lettuce. Last but not least, onto the desserts. Pound Bakery, £1, raspberry and apple turnover. They didn't have the similar, but I went for the cheapest option in both. So that's £1. And yum yums. 2 yum yums in there, £1.80. So basically, you get 4 raspberry and apple turnovers almost to 1 box of yum yums. Do you like raspberry apple? So the comparison here basically is I've chosen the cheapest in both. Move that down. There's not much raspberry in there. Nice layers to the pastry. And the pastry on top, you can see a lot of sugar. The raspberry filling is nice. So on to the yum yum. Zzz. 2 of them. A lot of caster sugar on that. You'll be running around the block. There's too many of those. So basically, some pastry with lots of icing sugar chucked over. Oh, damn, that is sweet. That is really sweet. To me, neither of them are particularly brilliant. Would I have 2 or 4 of the raspberry and apple turnovers? I'll go with the raspberry and apple. I'd rather have 4 of those. Mainly because if you're into your sugar, you're going to choose this all day long. The other one was a bit lighter when it comes to the pastry. So for me, it's 4-2. 4-2 to Pound Bakery. They've just pipped it. You ask me, someone's going to say, what was the difference in the coffees? Nothing really. Coffees taste exactly the same. I'm not going to judge the coffees, I'm just going to judge the food. Let me just wrap this here and decide who's eating what and how and when. And I'll give you my final verdict. Pound Bakery's won it though. We already gathered that with the score. Hang on. Full-time whistle, whatever they do, the referee. Normally it's a red card to me, off. Oh, that was the old days. Let me just sum it up very quickly. They are quite similar-ish kind of prices, but Pound Bakery, they're a little bit bigger than GREGGS. And I'm quietly impressed with them. I am quietly impressed. Now, obviously, I've been into both. They're opposite sides of the road. That's clever. That's clever. Whoever set up first and the other one came in and said, right, I'm going to take you on. That's actually quite clever marketing. For me, Pound Bakery is superb value. It's very good. Not everything is absolutely fantastic. You know, especially the pizza, that was just over. Be interested to try that pizza, actually, when they just brought it out. And that's one of the keys with these bakeries, because it is all about the timing. You know, I'm not going to go on about how hot both of them are, quite literally, because I've had to walk around the corner, get a table and chairs, blah, 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 blah. That didn't work. So I won't elaborate too heavily on that side of it. The only way I can break this down is how much I spent in total. So at GREGGS, I spent a total of £13.90. In Pound Bakery, I spent a total of £12.15. So there you have it. Pound Bakery is what? £1, 80, 75, 85p difference. For me, Pound Bakery wins all day long. However, what you should be doing is supporting your local bakery. Keep your local independents in business. So if you get the opportunity, go to your independent bakery. You might pay that little bit extra, but try and support them. If not, and you're in the high street and you fancy a nibble and you've got one across the road, you've got one there, you've got Pound Bakery there, you've got Greggs there. My advice is, give your eyes a treat. Get into Pound Bakery. I think that is better than Greggs on this occasion, and in my opinion. And everyone might have a different opinion to me. So don't turn around and say, I've tried Pound Bakery, it's absolutely rubbish, because it can vary from place to place that you visit. So this is my opinion on this particular day. Guys, you have my apologies. 1 minute the sun is out and it's absolutely fantastic. The next thing, things are blowing all down the street, etc., etc. So what I need to do is get in here, finish up, and away we go. It's a bit of a mess in the bag, but hey ho.